So what is wrong with the New York Mets? I mean, a lot is wrong with them. They've been losing a lot recently. They're 9-15 since the All-Star break when this is being recorded. They were 47-40 at the All-Star break. In first place, they led first place for over 90 days, and then they're collapsing. They just can't figure to score runs. But before we get into some of the negatives of the New York Mets, let's talk about some positives. So Pete Alonso, obviously, he has 24 home runs. He's having a great season. He's probably going to have hit 30 in between 30 to 35 home runs. The polar bear continues to slug. Obviously, he has been cold recently, but the whole team has been cold, so I'm not going to put that too much on him. Edwin Diaz, I mean, he's rebounded from a poor 2020 where he blew a bunch of saves. He's been pretty good this year outside a few weeks of some shaky pitching. Brandon Nimmo and JD Davis continue to hit the ball like they have been in their whole careers. JD has been a great acquisition. He was the only good player. JD and Diaz are the best players acquired by former GM Brody Van Wagen. So they've been panning out definitely. And Stroman and Taiwan have been good this year. I can't complain about them. Stroman, I mean, he has a losing record. He gets like a decision basically every start, but he has a sub 3 ERA, a 2.83. He's been good. Taiwan, who replaced DeGrom in the All-Star game, has been great all season, although he's been pitching poorly recently, but does not overshadow the fact he's having a great season overall and a very cheap pickup for the Mets. He's only owed about $12 million each year. So those are some of the positives. Now let's get into some of the negatives. I mean, number one, I mean, injuries. They've had on and off injuries. I mean, most of their team actually was hurt when they were playing the Billy McKinneys of the world, the Jose Perazzas of the world earlier in the season, but the Nationals, Braves, and Phillies just could not overtake the Mets, but now they actually are, and the Mets are sinking. They're sinking fast. They got swept by Philly. They've been playing horribly since the All-Star break. So Lindor on and off. I mean, one of the negatives is, I mean, I like Lindor as a player. He brings positive attitude. His defense is tremendous. He's a good hitter. He's a switch hitter. We look for a lot of teams looking for great switch hitters, but I mean, this season he hasn't been that good. I mean, besides of his defense and his positive attitude, they do have a winning record with him, but he's only hit 11 home runs this year. He's batting 228. I mean, he had over 40 home runs one year in Cleveland, and he's clearly not the same player. I thought he was better than Fernando Tatis coming into the season, but clearly is not because Tatis can bat over 300, steal bases, and hit 30 bombs. So Lindor, I mean, that's not been a great acquisite contract as of right now. Although he hasn't played that many games as a Met. Let's not get too carried away. He hasn't even played 100 games as a Met, so he could definitely become a good superstar. Get back to a superstar status like he once was. Peraza's been injured. Pilar's been injured on and off. These guys have been important bench pieces. The big difference is the Mets bench has actually been solid this season. In previous years, they would have Luis Guillorme and really nobody else on the bench. Now they have VR, they have Peraza and Pilar, but a lot of those guys are on and off hurt, so that's a big loss. You need your full team healthy. Obviously, Thor hasn't pitched all season. He's continuously injured. Carrasco, he's pitched decently since he came back, but he was hurt for most of the season, and that is not good. He was supposed to have a June return, and it's pretty much he came back way too late. He came back basically late July. And DeGrom, I mean, he's having the best season of his career, like a 1.08 ERA. He's been hurt. I mean, he's having the best year of his career. It's frustrating. He would have ran away with the Cy Young Award, and he would have ran away with the Cy Young Award. And literally, like he's the best pitcher I've seen in my lifetime. I mean, there's no comparison between DeGrom and Garrett Cole there. Cole's had a lot of poor starts recently, but yeah, so a lot of injuries. And the main reason, I mean, this team cannot hit the baseball to save their lives. As Anthony DeComo tweeted, I'm going to put this tweet on the screen. 3.72 runs per game before the All-Star break, 3.74 after the All-Star break. That hasn't changed at all. I mean, that's consistency. They've been pretty bad. And I mean, it's people like Michael Conforto. One of the other negatives, he had 33 home runs, a career high in 2019. That has sunk to just 7 and 25 RBIs. And people were saying they should have extended him before the season, just like Lindor. guess what? They are not going to extend him after this season. He's been putrid, 201 average. That's not good. He was a former All-Star, so they have to dump him and try to replace him in the outfield there. Dom Smith, who I liked a lot, he batted over 330 last year. Granted, the ball was juiced. It was a 60-game sample, of course, with sort of the weird pandemic season. But Dom Smith is his numbers are down. OBP, slugging, OPS. He's not hasn't been that good. McNeil, who's a career 308 hitter, has been batting 250 this season after every other year batting basically 300 in the big leagues. I mean, I like McNeil as a player, but I'm inquiring about Javier Baez. I do like that move for the future. If they do re-sign him, the Mets did not give up anything for Javier Baez. So, but also another issue with this team, I guess sort of the third issue after runs scored and injuries. I mean, the pitching, yeah, it's been good that side, but the back end rotation has been poor. They don't have guys that eat up innings, which and when you don't have starters that eat up innings, your bullpen comes in and they're gonna be really tired after game. They can't put on those great performances, which leads to more blown saves, bad bullpen pitching from people like Familia and May. Drew Smith's not that good either. So, I mean, Peterson got hurt. He was supposed to be the fifth starter coming into the season. He's been hurt. Sean Reed Foley, a long reliever. I mean, he was good for the Mets this season, but he's now injured. He's on the 60-day IL. So they just don't have enough pitching. I like how they got Trevor Williams in the Baez deal, but they don't. Trevor Williams, he wasn't Double A Syracuse, I believe, or Triple A. He just got called. I mean, I really think the Mets. I mean, they do need offense, but they do need another pitcher. They need a few more pitchers, but it's a shame because this team was 47-40. They were in first place, and now I pretty much I'm going to declare the season over. They don't have any. They only have any hope. I don't know what to say about this team, but we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I do trust Steve Cohen. He has a lot of cash. I mean, obviously the Wilpons would have never gotten Lindor, but I really do hope this team could somehow go on a magical run. I don't know if it's going to happen this season because they do play the Dodgers, Giants, and Dodgers. Or yeah, they play them basically two times over in a 13-game span in mid-August, which is coming up. So they're kind of they're dead meat. They're dead meat, and I just think the Mets. We're gonna have to unfortunately take the L this season and move on to next season. It was a second half collapse led by the offense. On the bright side, we could re-sign Javier Baez in the offseason, and him and Lindor could be a great duo there at second and short for seasons to come. Just team needs to stay healthy, and a few more pitchers would help in the offseason, but it's really sad because this division has been terrible this year, the NL East, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens the rest of the season, but a lot has been going on wrong for the Mets. It's really unfortunate as a Mets fan.